Hey everybody, it is Hump Day. How is everybody on One Life? How are we all? Look who I've got. I have found the lovely Helena Mace over on this side. Say hi, Helena. How are we?
Hello, how are you? I'm good, thank you.
Okay, welcome to One Live. We've just been speaking, and apparently we have got a close friend that I didn't even know we were friends. And like in terms of the amazing Paul Jupe.
Of course,
That's the
yeah, we love
first thing I
Paul.
found
Yeah.
out about you.
Yes,
We
I've met
love
Paul a few
Paul.
times, yeah.
So I'm going to
Yeah.
tag you, Paul. I'm going to tag you on this video, and we can have a talk about how amazing you both are as UK artists, and especially country artists. Okay, to find you two UK artists in a matter of a month, is absolutely amazing. But also to find two UK country artists as well who have picked up awards is amazing. I
Oh,
said to Paul, I said it was really cool because like Paul went over to the International Singer Songwriters Association and brought home the goods for the UK.
yeah.
He actually wiped the floor with everybody when it come over in America, and I was so proud of him. But to find two of you, wow, and two of you with such amazing voices as well,
Oh, thank
very
you.
lucky man, very lucky man. So, Helena, before we tell your story about your amazing music journey and amazing journey, from a very personal connection as well, in terms of your sort of your upbringing into music, but your personal struggles as well. A few years ago, we've got quite a lot to cover this evening,
Yep,
but we've got some amazing music of yours to show the world as
thank
well,
you.
and to be able to play out to the world. I just wanted to start off this evening's show just to remind everybody that we are continuing to raise money for the Danny's Foundation. Ken and Danny are on the show tomorrow. Helen and I were just talking about the Danny's Awards,
Yeah.
and basically, the Danny's Awards are an association over in America. They support disabled artists around the world, but they run their project from New York. They set it up for their son Daniel, who is a performer, a singer. He has his own record label set up by his family and friends. They basically have an award show every year. As part of that award show, they welcome their guests onto their record label,
Oh, yeah.
support them as artists. It's a huge first prize. They have gone into massive, great big venues like Woodstock. Anybody with any disability around the world can enter that competition, but also welcomed as part of the Danny's Foundation. Now, the Danny's Foundation produce classes locally in New York for disabled people, but they also provide disabled people with a platform to meet online. So they do
Oh,
open
lovely.
mic.
Yeah.
They do dance sessions, just music videos, things like that. Just to encourage people who are disabled to not look at themselves as a disabled person, but to look at themselves as people who enjoy and love music.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
the award show, I would really encourage you after this show to go and watch it because, oh my God, the wealth of talent out there is absolutely amazing. From a blind group from Alabama
Wow.
to a guitarist who basically is able to play the guitar with his feet
That's amazing, isn't it?
and play it better than I have ever heard anyone play a guitar.
Wow, it's
So
incredible.
I was just really taken back. So we are supporting the Danny's this month, and they are going to be with us tomorrow night. And I will meet them live, and I'm
Fabulous.
really
Yeah.
excited. I have met them before, and they're absolutely wonderful. So in terms of One Live, thank you very much for continuing to support our artists, our 15 artists for the month who are joining us for the Danny's Foundation. You are all absolutely amazing. You have sent me some amazing music, and you are keeping our audience entertained virtually every single night between now and the end of November. Just one little other thing. Just remember, we have our One Life Christmas party for the Make the Wish Foundation. So if, like Helena, you have just brought out an album when it comes to Christmas, please send your album in to the One Life team, and we will be playing your Christmas songs on the 19th from 7 o'clock till midnight because you will be joining us for our Christmas party. And if you want to come and see us live at One Life, you can come and sing your song live. We'd like to see you come in, come and talk about your album, come and talk about your Christmas songs and what you're going to be doing over the Christmas period. And we'll share a mince pie, because I know Helena likes mince pies. We'll share a mince pie together, and we'll also share, a little glass of sherry, whatever we decide we're going to have on tonight. But yeah, that's it basically for One Life. We are going to be very busy this week, so I'm going to go straight over to the amazing Helena Mace. How are we?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So you sent me in your bio with your best bits, and you weren't mucking around. You were straight up there.
Straight in there.
I'm not. I tell you what, I've had some bios before, and normally what I say to artists is that it's been such a long artist, I've fallen asleep on the bus reading your bio. But with yours, it was like, hang on a minute, just let me tie my tie up. I am Mrs. UK singer-songwriter Helena Mace, release of 7 albums. Band is rum-soaked. 3 number 1 iTunes albums. She is UK Country Artist 2024 and 2023. Texas Country Awards. Her album, and I love this. Your album Waterfall was number 2 in the iTunes chart, behind Twisters, which is the most amazing thing to be able to see as an artist. I want to start off with that. Have you seen the film Twisters?
I have. Yes, I saw it actually around the same time. Yeah, great. It's brilliant.
So when you put your album in,
I love the original.
When you put your album in and saw that it was second behind Twisters, what was your feeling? What went through your body? That must have been amazing.
It was amazing because obviously with an album like that, because it's from obviously a blockbuster movie with lots of very famous musicians on the actual soundtrack. I mean, to just be up there with it is quite impressive for me. Anyway, so it's just absolutely overjoyed. It's just so nice to have people embrace what I do. And obviously when you release an album in the summer, you do tend to be up against that. So you kind of think, oh, nothing will really happen. But then when it went up that high, I was really, really pleased. And it got all genre as well. So it actually got into the main all genre charts as well as the country ones. So that was just like incredible.
And then you finished 3 days ago, you've gone into the Red Carpet Awards over in Holland as well. And, had Ballad, was it a Ballad of the Year?
Ballad of the Year for one of my, which is a nice story actually, because the song that was actually won was written by my dad. And it was written before I think I was born, which is a long time ago. So to have that on there, it was my dad and my godfather who wrote the original thing, and we rearranged it and released it on my Echoes album, which is album number 5. And to have it come out a couple of years later and to win an award it's just amazing. So it was an online show this year because the lady running it hadn't been very well, so they did it online. But I'm going out to Amsterdam next year because I'm nominated for 9 awards and the red carpet for next year. So we're going out.
It was 7 awards this year, wasn't it?
7 this year, 9 next year. So it's great.
Have you got enough room? Does your husband mind, like when you come home with all these trophies? Have you got somewhere to put them all?
He did laugh because he did laugh and say I probably need a new cabinet because I've got a good few here now, which it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing to be recognised. I think 1, 2, 3, 6 awards at the moment on the shelf. So I'm just it is amazing.
It's amazing. So that was the bio that you sent me, and I know I read it through pretty quick, but what a musical journey, what a musical history. What I want to do is I want to let people listen to your music so they can hear you. StreamYard does occasionally block out the music on the other side. So if you can hear your track, please give me a thumbs up.
Okay.
Because other artists have sat there going, I can't hear you. I ain't got a clue what you're doing.
I shall let you know.
But just let me know. But what we're going to do after your track, we are going to go through a little bit about your music journey, but also start a bit off about where it first began. When you first decided, yep, this is the music journey I wanted to go on to, and so we can give our listeners a bit of background regarding Helena Mace. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
So your first track that you sent me through was "See You in a While." Absolutely love this track. Do you want to tell everybody a bit about it?
Yeah, this is a track that I recorded earlier this year, and it's on the Waterfalls album. It came out as a single, and it was part of a documentary I did for Bournemouth University. They actually recorded the process of getting the album, and they did a documentary for their dissertations. So we spent a lot of time, and not only recording the single, but actually doing the documentary. And it's a country song, and it is about when you miss someone, but missing the little things, the little things we take for granted on a daily basis, like the way they talk to you, or the way they light up a cigarette, or the way they just anything could be really small and really silly. But it's just on this occasion, it's like I miss those words when you say "see you" in a while, because it's not there anymore.
I like it. I like the sound. Okay, right, let's play it to everybody. Here we go.
It's like a door closed in so fast. All that time had gone swiftly past, and I'm feeling so empty, and I feel so sad. Wishing you were right beside me, for the future that we had. I miss the way you light your cigarette. I miss the way you held my your cigarette. I miss the way you held my hand. I miss the way you make me smile. But most of all, I miss your voice. Most of all, I miss your voice. Saying, see you in a while. Saying, see you in a
Beautiful track. Thank you so much for sending that in. I really enjoyed
Thank you for playing.
I loved it. Absolutely loved that. And I'm sure our listeners loved it too.
Thank you. I hope so.
Okay, let's go right back to the beginning. Okay, you sort of let me know a little bit about your dad being a musician. So is that sort of where it all started for you? Did you grow up in a musical family?
Yes, absolutely. My dad, he's still a songwriter now, but back when I was younger, he was in a couple of bands himself. So they lived on the Isle of Wight, which they still do, my family, and they used to do a lot
I
of
love the
the
Isle of Wight.
local
What
stuff.
part of the Isle of Wight? Where are they?
Now my dad's in Ryde, and mum's in
Right. Oh,
Sandown, and my
it's one of my
sister's in
favourite
Ryde.
places. Oh,
Yeah, I love it.
beautiful.
My
I love the
uncle,
Isle of
auntie,
Wight.
cousins in Ryde. I've got still
Oh,
got a lot of family over there. So I was taken to a lot of gigs back in the sort of late 70s, early 80s and all that. So from a baby, I used to just be very, very young. And back then you could just you could take your kids anywhere, couldn't you, back in those days? So it was always, something I was just brought up with. And they used to have band rehearsals at my house and that, and I just remember them coming round. There's quite an active scene on the Isle of Wight anyway. I mean, you've got Level 42, and obviously you have the Isle of Wight Festival, which you still do. My dad and my stepdad were friends with Mark King. In fact, my stepdad, who only passed away last year, was in the original lineup of Level 42 with Phil and Boone Gould.
wow.
Phil Gould's a friend of the family, and it was just something I was
I'll just
brought
let that
up
one
in.
drop, just a tiny little drop there,
Name drop, yeah, and a great band that I loved as a teenager. Level 42.
Yeah,
So the
brilliant.
Isle of Wight's got a very
Definitely.
vibrant scene even now, and they're still very supportive. Even though I don't live there anymore, I live in Bournemouth, but they do in the local papers. They still write little articles about me and that, which is really, really lovely. But yeah, and then I think as a teenager, I didn't do it much because you don't. As a teenager, you're kind of like, no, I'm not cool. It's not cool enough for me, and all that. But I'd always been writing songs and poetry from a very, very young age. It was something that I always came back to. So my family was very musical. They're very into their rock and country. So anything from like Eagles, Dolly Parton to Kenny Rogers to Fleetwood Mac, the Stones, Beatles, Bread. There's so many different influences growing up that I was kind of. It's inevitable either me or my sister would be musicians. My sister isn't. It happened to be me, but I'm the firstborn, so I was the one that was kind of just like carted around everywhere. And I did the same with my daughter when I had her, and I took her to loads of gigs. But she has no interest in singing.
What did you think to her mum being a singer? Did she listen to your music? Is it her
No.
genre? Like that? She doesn't.
She used to when she was younger, but she's 18 now, so of course it's not quite cool enough. But obviously she was dragged around all her life up until recently, so she probably got a bit bored of it. But I'm hoping a day will come back when when she gets a bit like thinks I'm a bit cooler than what I am. At the moment, teenagers are like.
But country music, you mentioned some of the artists. Is country big in Bournemouth? Because I said to Paul Jupe, I said UK country scene, is it still as big? And he was like saying, yeah, it's really big, Adrian. Actually, there's some really great country artists. I found one. But in Bournemouth, is it something that goes down really well in the local pubs and clubs?
Yeah, weirdly enough. I mean, I do tend to travel around. So I do gig all over the place. Actually very little in my local area now. I tend to go sort of all around and about. But when we do gigs in the local area, it always goes down really well because from my band Rum Soaked, which is a covers band, we do slip in originals. We're a covers band, so we try and do mostly country, and we slip in the old, kind of more non-country track, but it's very majority country because that's what we all enjoy. And it seems to be that country is really making a big bang in the UK at the moment, even more so, I think, this year. So you'd be surprised and where it goes down and how many people from all ages as well will really, really enjoy it. They love it. And they sort of, oh yeah, I love this song, or I really love country and all that. So it's not as big down south as it is Midlands and North, I find. There's a massive scene in the Midlands and up north. But down here it's a bit quieter, but it is really starting to build up, I think.
Good. And, very popular. I've seen it grow and grow. My sister comes from, my sister's husband comes from America, and they are very big country, big country music. And it's growing on me. It really is. My producer, who recently passed away, he got me into country music and got me country music, and I'd never thought that I'd go down that route. And I think the amount of friends that I've got whose genre is country music now. I'm almost falling in love with country music.
It's gonna get you, you know that.
Say that. It has got me. It's got
There
me
you
now.
go.
I absolutely love country music. Every
Brilliant.
time I'm finding a country singer, absolutely love country music. One of my good friends, Debbie, her cousin, it will name drop now, is Dolly Parton, and just meeting people in the country scene are
Yeah.
such lovely people, especially from Tennessee, the American people, the big country
Yes.
singers.
Yeah, I
And
do love
being
America.
drawn into the world of westerns, and you've been recently to Texas, was it?
Yeah, I literally we got back about 4 weeks ago. For another
What
awards
was
for
you
the
doing over
CMAs.
there? Another awards for the CMAs.
It was,
How did
yeah.
that go?
It's a Texas CMA, so it's a Texas Sounds International CMAs, and we were invited. I was invited out there back in a few years ago, but I got poorly and I couldn't go because I couldn't fly. And then they invited me back out again this year with the guys. For their award ceremony, and we came back with an award, which is
Fantastic!
amazing, and we had such a
Congratulations.
lovely time. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Texas. Have you been to? Did you go? Have you been to Texas before? Was that the first time?
First time I've been to Texas. It was great. It's we did all sorts. We performed out there. We went horse riding in the valleys and in the woods and
Wow.
stuff. We went on these lakes, and it was so friendly. And the awards were very different because it was not an American award as such, even though it's held in Texas. It's very international. So each artist is from somewhere else. So we were up against people from Switzerland, from Namibia, from Australia, and we brought it home for the UK on one of the awards. So we were so pleased. Very chuffed,
Fantastic!
actually.
That's brilliant. I bet you are. I'm really proud of you. I'm going to set you a little challenge
you.
at the end because I'm just really, really proud of all of the awards that you're bringing through, but also how proud I am of you, because one of the things you have left out of your story, and one of the things that's really, drawn me in a warm way towards you, is your passion and drive, determination to do what you love most when the world is basically hitting you the hardest. And we were talking off air before we come on air this evening about actually it's not all been easy for Helena Mace in terms of her music. You went through something really tragic 4 years ago, which has left you in a place where you have to struggle daily with something, and people do know about it who are close friends to you, who know about yourself in terms of your music. But I think I want to reflect on that a bit, because I think you're an absolutely amazing person, Helena.
Thank you.
Something happened to you 4 years ago. Do you want to tell everybody?
Yeah, sure. Back in, just between sort of lockdown, just before lockdown, just before that, I was diagnosed with what I call a benign brain tumor. And it was very difficult because it was one of those ones that's very rare. So that was always a bit of a pain. And the treatment that I had for it in radiotherapy, which I had in between lockdowns, was actually caused me to lose all my hearing in my right side, which isn't brilliant as a musician and singer. And I have had to re-teach myself in a way to be able to go from having 2 ears with stereo sound to just the one ear with mono sound, and also some distortion in that hearing. So if someone talks on my right side, I can't hear anything. So everything I do hear goes to my left, which can be overwhelming at times. So I am completely profoundly deaf in my right ear. The tumor is still there. They have curbed it to stop it from growing. Obviously, if it does grow, it will probably mean brain surgery, and which obviously I want to avoid. But I found that since I've had the tumor and I've learned to deal with the radiotherapy and what it's left me with, I'm kind of slightly paralyzed on one part of my face. I get vertigo. I have dizzy spells, brain fog, that kind of thing. So it's almost, I've taught myself again to be able to play guitar, to sing and be able to hear myself in my new voice, because I will never hear myself how I actually sound ever again, which is quite sad, but I'm getting used to the way I hear myself now. So I always think to myself, well, if it sounds good with one ear, it must sound really good with two, right? So yeah, it's been really challenging, and it's not completely over yet. We're hoping that hopefully I can just live with it as it is and it won't grow, and they've done enough to stop it. To stop it from growing anymore. But these are quite tricky little things. They don't always go, but the best they can hope is they can just keep it stable, and hopefully it will maybe even shrink slightly. So that's what we're hoping.
Fantastic. Do you know what? You're a brave woman. And
Well, thank you.
one of the things you said to me before we went on live is that basically what you want to do is you want to help other music artists who have got a disability or have lost their hearing, lost their sight,
Yeah.
lost their ability to use their hands and their arms or whatever, what the Dannies ago, who they support, actually your music journey doesn't stop, and it hasn't
No.
stopped you, and you've carried on and found other ways. What's going on stage like now? It must be quite difficult. You mentioned vertigo, you mentioned sort of only hearing one sound. What else have you had to put in place to just make that experience the same, or has it ever been the same, or will it ever be the same again?
It probably won't. This is the new normal for me now. So what we tend to do, I used to go out solo a lot, but I try not to as much now because I can't gauge my own sound. So I think it might sound good, but then it may not sound as good as it could. So I've got a band, the trio, which is Rumsode, and Dave, our bass player, is also a sound engineer. So we strategically place a monitor on the floor. All my sound comes through the monitor because the right speaker I can't hear out of it, and the left speaker is usually so far away that I can't either. So all my sound comes through the monitor. My husband's in between us on a cajon, so the vibrations and the beat on that helps with my timing. So I use that. So if I can feel the vibration through the floor, or if I can hear the tap on the cajon, which helps me with, it's like a metronome that's always there, So I find that really helps. I can hear, but if there's lots of background noise, that's all feeding through to the one ear I've got, which can be really overwhelming. So I have to concentrate on the cajon with the metronome, my own voice, my own guitar, and then listen to those two as well with the bass and drums and their vocals, and try and block off the outside noise. So all the background noise of people, we know it's like in pubs, it's lively, it's loud. I have to try and zone out. So sometimes I zone out too much, and I kind of lose myself a little bit, but I always manage to keep the timing. And vocally, it's always seems to be fine. So it's kind of, I think if you love something so much, you will work your best with it. Because as far as I'm concerned, it could have been worse. I could have lost both of my hearing. The brain tumor could have been cancerous. Luckily, it wasn't. It is rare. It's only 1 in 100,000 chance of getting it. I'd had problems with my hearing a few years before I'd been diagnosed, and they just put it down to an ear infection, which obviously wasn't. And then it worked out that it was this. And after several brain scans and radiotherapy and all that, they managed to, at the moment, it seems to be, touch wood, it's curbed it. It hasn't grown in the last 3 years. So that's really good.
Let's keep you healthy. And
Yes, absolutely.
let's remind you who Helena Mace is. Helena Mace is an amazing woman. She is our UK country singer who has awards in God knows how many countries. Just got back from Texas, the Red Carpet Awards in Holland, amazing. And for me, I think this story is absolutely perfect for the Danny's Awards, because at the end of the day, it's somebody who can advocate for someone who has struggled going through what you have in your health, but actually become an amazing musician, and you still continue to be so. So fantastic. Really lovely story, Helena. But also in terms of a lovely story, as part of One Life, it is about supporting local and national charities and working with local and national charities.
Yeah.
I see that you're a bit of a runner. Is that having to run away from the husband? Every time I looked on your Facebook page, it was literally, you doing marathons to raise money for people. So is that, do you still
I don't do
that?
marathons. I usually do the smaller races, 5 or 10K. But when I found that
It's a marathon to me. It's a long way.
It is, yeah. Running is hard for anyone, I think. But when after I had my therapy, obviously we were in lockdown, so of course we weren't allowed out much. But when you were allowed out, you were allowed to exercise. So I did some running for Naomi House Children's Hospice, which I did a few times. We did some online shows during lockdown for them as well. Brain tumor charity, I've done some stuff for obvious reasons. And every year we do a Christmas luncheon on the Isle of Wight, which is raise funds for Naomi House Children's Hospice. I've been to the hospice. I've sang for the children, and my goodness, you're so humbled when you go there. These kids are amazing people. How they get through what they're getting through, but they're so happy and they're so appreciative of what they have got, and it's very humbling. and it's the parents as well, because I think probably it's worse for them. Because I don't think I could.
Just excuse Helena while she drops the phone,
Sorry.
everybody.
Well, I'm throwing things. Sorry about that. Yeah, these kids are just incredible, and the parents as well. What they have to go through, and how hospices, they support the siblings and the parents and all that as well. So yeah, it's just to raise money for anything like that, especially for children. I think who, you know, it's so sad they have to go through that. But we did some festivals for them, and they're dancing and they're singing. So yeah, I've always tried to help raise funds for certain charities, and I've done cancer research, obviously Race for Life, and that I've done brain tumor, heart disease, and obviously the kids hospice as well. So I felt like if you've got something that you can contribute to, however small, then you should.
Definitely, that's really lovely. And you know, any hospices, you know, we just recently worked with Willen Hospice, who's adult based, over in Milton Keynes with our band Wesson. We done a month for them, and you know, one of the things that they were saying, and you know, they were quite regularly on the show in terms of talking to our artists, and they were saying, you know, at the end of the day, our hospices aren't surviving at the moment. They are really struggling with
Very
the
little
government
funding.
grants that they're given, and they're given very little, and they depend on, you know, private funding, charitable funding, you know. So you know, these kids, they're terminally ill, they're at the end of their life, their families need the help, and if we lose those types of support to families, to children, it would be devastating, absolutely devastating. I really hope it never gets that way.
No, I don't,
but you know, what I'd say to all of my artists, please post links, please tell us more about, you know, Naomi House, put it on One Life. We will get the stories out there. We will get the organisations out there.
Sorry.
We are setting up a website in the new year. Hello, cat. I mean, you have a famous cat. I see your famous cat. What's this one's name?
This is Jinx.
Hi, Jinx. Hi, Jinx.
Hi, Jinx.
Likes to be a film star as well. Yeah,
she does. Sing? Yeah, I'm an advocate of rescue animals, so I've got a couple of rescue cats. I do love raising money for animals as well as people. So yeah, she just thought she'd get involved, and she obviously is getting ignored, and she doesn't like that. So I apologise for a big furry face appearing.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. At the end of the day,
she's just sat here purring. She's fine.
You've got a big family, and what we're going to do is we're halfway through the show. We're going to play your next song, and then we're going to find out a bit more about family life and in relation to life outside of music, because that's one. It's, you know, One Life's really important to us. It is about music, but as artists, you know, we're all artists on this show, including myself. You know, we've got to keep ourselves entertained away from music sometimes.
We have,
we've got to remember our family, especially coming up with Christmas as well. So, Jinx and Helena, do you want to tell us, as you're going to be telling us about Home, Home, the track? Tell us a bit about the song.
Home. It's one of my favourites, I think, at the moment, of my Waterfalls album, and it's about when you've got a family and you've had a family, and then suddenly they've all grown up. And you remember when they were little, you used to moan about the mess being all over the floor, and there's toys everywhere, and you can never keep the house clean. And then suddenly that's gone. And I've seen it with lots of my parents. You know, they live on their own now. My dad lives on his own. My mum lives on her own. And other people of the sort of similar age that had all that big family, and now we've all grown up, and now we've got families of our own, and now my daughter's grown up, and one day she'll start a family, and it's about appreciating it but missing what was home. You know, it's not just a house, it was a home, and there's a difference between the two.
Definitely. Do you know what? I'm going to dedicate this next song also to my fiance, who's away in France at the moment, and actually it doesn't feel like the same when she goes away.
Yeah, it's different, isn't it? It's a different place.
There's less mess, but it does feel empty. Okay, but I'm going to play Home for everybody else out there. Enjoy the song just as much as I have before we come on the show this evening. Here we go.
Hope you enjoy it.
When you open that window, it feels so quiet now. No footsteps running down the hall, prints on the wall. No more voices ring with love and cries. No more faces, no tired little lies.
Beautiful.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
love it. And I'm sure our listeners do too, just as much as I do. So we were just saying, just before that, but we were saying about what's life like at home outside of the musical world,
This,
and
apparently.
it's hilarious. And we were talking about this before the show. But what we thought was really funny was that the band name Mumsoak was actually brought up by your partner, who has a bit of a likeness to Johnny Depp. Everybody, apparently.
He does a bit, yeah. He used to be a Jack Sparrow impersonator as well. He also does all my artwork, so all my CDs and posters and that. He does all the designs. He's a designer, and he's also a comic book writer as well. He's just written his first comic, which has just been published. So yes, he's very creative
cool.
visually as well, and he's in the band, so it's all good.
Wow, how did you two meet? Was it sort of like, it must have been love at first sight? Come on, Johnny Depp, all women when it comes to Johnny Depp. It must have been love at first sight. Was he Johnny Depp when you first met him?
No. No, and it was a long time ago because we met 21 years ago, and weirdly enough, we met on a karaoke night in a local pub.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
Me and my partner over Facebook, so it was a Facebook.
Oh, okay, there you
dating
go.
thing.
Yeah,
we met we met here over in Torbay 3 years ago. So it works out there. But karaoke, was he singing at the time? Did he sing
yeah.
to you?
He wasn't a professional singer, but he just loved to sing. He'd go to karaoke just to sing. As did I. I mean, I used to practice at karaoke, just like practice certain songs, just to learn my craft and get used to singing in front of people. So yeah, I paid my dues. Something I've done the cabaret circuit for 20 years.
Wow.
Just doing hotels and clubs and pubs. We all learn our craft and we pay our dues. And I've learned a lot along the way.
Yep. I remember those days. I do remember those days. As a wedding singer doing X Factor and God knows what else. Done all that. I was just like, have you done X Factor? Have you done sort of The Voice and X Factor? Britain's Got Talent? Have you done anything like that?
I did some of the auditions, and I was asked to do The Voice. So I was bypassed a couple of rounds to go and do The Voice up in, I think it was in Wembley a few years ago. But I found that I wanted to make my own way. I don't think it would work for me, especially X Factor. I wasn't impressed with the way things were going on the show. I'd be diplomatic as possible, but I just didn't think people were. It's a TV show. At the end of the day, it's a reality show. They want to get they want viewers, basically, and it doesn't matter who's on there. They want viewers. I saw some horrific people get through, some really bad ones, and I saw some amazing people, absolutely amazing artists that didn't. And it's just like, well, you can see where this is going. So no, I don't think it's an overnight success. It's not always a good thing.
And I think, I went down the same route, in terms of wanting to find that instant stardom, you go and find the record label and things like that. But you know what, actually, I've enjoyed life more as an independent artist over the last, 20 years. I enjoy creating the singles and the albums and everything I do for people more as an independent artist. I get more out of it. It seems to be a better group of people who you collaborate with, who you meet. You must know that yourself, the difference between a professional and an independent artist like yourself. There is a lot of difference. It's a lot more enjoyable, for yourself. Is that always the way you see yourself? Would you always see yourself as an independent artist and stay as an independent
I like
artist?
to think, I do think so. I mean, I'd work with others and collaborate if it was right. This is not about money. This is also about keeping the rights to your own music, being able to have creative freedom, which I think as someone on the X Factor you wouldn't have. And I think that as long as I can keep my rights to my music and keep my own creative mind flowing, I don't want to have things written for me and then be told to do it a certain way. I've been doing this a long time. I've established myself as best as I can on my own with no management. I have no manager or anything like that, no financial backup. I'm a singer. That's my job. So that's how I pay for things. Is that that's how I did the club circuit, because it paid for me to record and things like that. So I like to keep as much creative flow as I can, and I wouldn't want that taken.
No, definitely not. And you're doing an amazing job.
Thank
in relation
you.
to family time, you have a daughter who's 18. Do you spend any time out in Bournemouth where you are? Do you go out for a night out? Do you actually go away from the studio and be mum?
Yeah. I tend not to, because most weekends we're working. So we gig obviously as a band. We're out quite a lot anyway. So most weekends are kind of a write-off because we're out performing and entertaining ourselves. Bournemouth's very clubby, so I'm probably a little too old, and my daughter would never let us go out with her. At the moment, I think she'd be hugely embarrassed. And for 18-year-olds to take her
Kids, eh?
almost elderly parents out, because that's the way they see us. You know, when you're 18, everyone over the age of 25 is ancient. But I do a
Helena
lot of
Mace,
running.
does she know who you are, Helena Mace? Does she know that her mum is famous? Does she know that her
They don't
mum's
care.
winning multiple awards?
No, they
Teenagers
don't care
these
about
days,
things like
Generation Z, I tell you, us parents are working hard. We are bringing home
Yeah.
awards. We are going around the world, you know, and our name is out there next to Twister, don't you know? And
Yeah,
still
there you
no
go. Yeah,
recognition from the teenager.
still not cool enough yet. But I'm hoping to think that in like 10 years' time, she may think it's a little cooler. You get through that teenage stage, don't you? And then suddenly you feel your parents aren't quite as bad.
I'll tell you what, Helena, we'll have a bet now. I bet if you do get a #1 album or a #1 single, and all of a sudden that Porsche turns up in the driveway, she'll be your best mate.
Yeah, then I'll be cool. I might be a little bit
You'd
cool.
be cool
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
And it'd be
probably.
like, Mum, you know what I was saying about your music? Actually, I'm going to go and tell all my friends that Helena Mace is my mum. You
Yeah,
know, it's just I'm going to
yeah.
be like overtook, you know, teenagers these days. They just
She
don't
will.
know, do they?
She'll come round.
She come round. She come round to your music. So you
Yeah.
know, you got Christmas coming up in the next
Yeah.
month. Is it a big family occasion?
And we spread ourselves quite thin because obviously we're working through it as well. So we like do every weekend, and Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve we're out. But I've got we're going to see Grant, my husband Grant. We're seeing his family on Christmas Day. And Boxing Day, I've got my family coming over from the Isle of Wight. So that'll be really nice. And we're hoping to get some Christmassy things done. I'm going to London this weekend I'm going to the West End to actually watch a show this time, not be in it.
Okay.
So we're going to see Phantom and Wicked. So that'll be amazing. We've got a couple of weekends off now, so we're trying to actually enjoy it.
Good.
And then before we crack on with the Christmas season, which is 6 weeks of just, you know, constant. And I've got an album coming out, my 7th album, which is a Christmas album called Snowfall. And that is a mixture of covers and some originals that I've written and some classic carols as well. So I've made it like really warm and Christmassy. And if you give me your address at the end of the show, I should send you a CD pack with a few of my CDs all signed for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
No,
Do you
you're
know what?
welcome.
That's made my Christmas. That has
Oh,
really made my Christmas.
well, I've got 7 albums, so I'll send you a pack.
What I'm gonna do, and do you know what, that leads into it really lovely, because what I'm gonna do with my artists is I'm going to ask all of my artists to try and keep around the 19th free if you're available, even if it's just sending me a song. And for Make the Wish Foundation this year, we are going to collate all of your Christmas singles, all of your Christmas albums. Anybody who sends them personally to me, I will be putting it all together as a little bit of a prize, as a little bit of a raffle for the Make the Wish Foundation. And I'm going to be asking all of my artists to do that.
Okay.
That's it. I love Christmas. You're like me.
Great,
I love Christmas. You know, it almost feels like a Christmas gift, you know, the fact that, you know, that you've just said that. And that's absolutely beautiful, absolutely lovely.
Yeah, I'll
Thank
send
you
a couple
so
of
much.
extra ones for the charity as well, so you can like raffle them off or put them wherever you want to do with them. I'll sign them as well.
It's
And a
made my
couple of signed
night. Thank
pictures.
you. Oh, Helena, you're absolutely amazing.
You're more than
Absolutely
welcome.
amazing. So
Whatever I can do to help.
2025, is it going to be as good as 2024? Because it's going to be hard to fit out that trophy
I
cabinet.
know, right? I feel like I'm under pressure now. Yeah.
Your partner's going to have to build another one.
Yeah, well, what we're trying to do is I'm starting album number 8 next year, but that won't be out until for a while yet because I've just done a couple. So I'm going to be touring hopefully around the UK. I'm looking to go to the Netherlands and hopefully America again, Nashville, hopefully next year. Just keep going, doing what I'm doing really, and just keep pushing it out there and write more stuff, push more stuff out there, and just keep annoying people with my music and hoping that it still continues to pay off. But I am looking to go to Nashville and to perform out there, which is something I'm really excited about. So we're working on that at the moment, and hopefully Amsterdam in around September time, which is the awards for the red carpet. So hoping to go out for that for a weekend and perform. It doesn't take that long to get there from Bournemouth, I don't think. She says, but yeah, just going to be around the country. keep putting music out. Come and join my journey. I mean, it's a crazy one, but there's lots of social media pages. You know, I'm on Instagram and Twitter, and not Twitter anymore, TikTok. I'm on Facebook. Obviously, I've got a website, YouTube. Come and say hi and stream my music if you'd like to. I hope you like it.
Everybody will be after this show. So
Good.
the One Life Challenge, we are setting One Life challenges this month. You have got a
Okay.
challenge, okay? So Helena, if you accept my challenge, it will be for the One Life crew. I am going to challenge you and Paul Dupe to come up with a single for me to basically break into the International Singer-Songwriters next year. They are putting up their award show in Atlanta every year.
Yeah.
And their voting comes very quickly after Christmas. I would love you and Paul to represent the UK and go over there and basically blow the waters apart in Nashville and come up with a duo between you and Paul for country singers, because I think that'd be brilliant. The fact that cool. UK country scene brought home the gold for the International Singer-Songwriters Association. Now we've got the both of you. I can see a duet coming up, so I will tag Paul and say, right, you two, get writing for the International Singer-Songwriters Association, get that song in, and I'll tell you what, if you could just mention a little bit about One Life when you put it together, we will be so proud of you. Okay, so that's your challenge. You should accept it or not. All of our artists have got challenges this month, and it's been quite something a bit fun. It's just to keep you engaged with us. We want to keep with you. We want to follow your career. You know, this is a show to support local and national charities, but it is also to support independent artists. Like I say, we're all independent artists. We want basically you to continue to grow with us in One Life, but us continue to support you, and we will then do our best as we can to entertain our friends and our family and our fans, and we will bring you the best possible music that we possibly can.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Great story, Helena. Great, amazing music, Helena. Is there anybody you want to say a special thank you to before we go off air tonight?
Oh, well, obviously, thank you for having me on the show. It's amazing to be on part of it. My producer, Matt Black, who does all my stuff, he's amazing. Without him, I don't think my music would be half as good. My family, my friends, and also just the people that have invited me to this award ceremony, and everyone who's voted and got me these awards, you know, because I didn't do this on my own. It's down to people that buy my music, that enjoy my music and encourage me and keep going. So anyone who's part of it, Ken at Country Music Social Media has been a massive supporter of my stuff. He also promotes Paul Dupe as well. Everyone who's just been so cool. So do check out my website, helenamace.com, and Country Music Social Media.com as well, which is where I promote artists as well. So we've got a lovely network, and there's probably lots of artists on there that would love to come on your show if you'd have them. I'm sure it's
have them. There'll be lots of space. Fantastic,
amazing.
brilliant.
And I will send you a pack. So do send me your address after the show.
I will do. It's like Christmas. I shall send it straight over. I feel like a big kid now. Excellent.
I'll get it out to you in the next few days. Yeah.
Oh, I'm all excited now. Do you know what, Helena? Thank you so much. Everybody at One Life, thank you so much. We are going to wrap up today's show because we are very, very, very busy this week. And the Dannies are coming to the show tomorrow. We've been waiting for them all month. They are coming. Daniel and Ken will be bracing the show tomorrow night at 7:00. So please keep your diaries open. Make sure you come and visit her here at One Life and live on Facebook and on YouTube and on X. Tomorrow night, 7:00 is the Dannies Awards themselves. Okay, Mr. Ken and Mr. Daniel are coming to the show. So, Helena, have a pleasant evening. Jinx, have a pleasant evening too. It was lovely to meet you both, and we'll see you soon. All right, take good care of yourself.
Take care, and thank you so much for having me. Bye.
You're welcome. Take good care of yourself. Bye bye.
I will do it, and you. Bye bye.